Hello everybody, welcome back to the Refuah Radio Show. Today's segment is about EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. It is an energy psychology technique that helps people to recover very, very quickly, very dramatically from very deep, troubling emotional issues. EFT is used around the world by certified therapists, board-certified psychologists, social workers, etc., doctors. There is a book called The Genie in Your Genes by Dawson Church. I reviewed this book several years ago. Church presents quite a bit of evidence about EFT's efficaciousness, the fact that it works, that you get results quickly, dramatically, and permanently. I'm going to read you a small selection from the book. He says the total health spending in the United States is over $2 trillion a year. The amount spent on all alternative therapies is estimated at 0.2% of that figure. That's quite a difference, folks. It's money that stays in your pocket. Now, he's citing some medical facts here at the beginning of the book. More deeply into the book, he begins to talk about the evidence that EFT and similar practices work, such other energy psychology, EMDR, Psych-K, etc. And he presents evidence that the genes in our body, remember the book is called The Genie in Your Genes, the genes of our body are very much coded like a chip in your computer, like a microchip. And those genes, those realities are affected by our mood, by our emotions, by our beliefs. What EFT does is to take the beliefs that you have and rewind them. It takes the trauma out of the belief. You keep the belief, but you take the sense of trauma, the sense of danger, the sense of horror out of it. There's another book that I've reviewed called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. This book was a bestseller. Lipton used the same techniques, these energy healing techniques. He encountered a class of college students studying for a medical degree. The students were failing. They were doing miserably. Bruce quickly switched into these energy techniques and turned on the success factor in the belief systems and the bodies of his students. Now, he didn't tell them what he was doing. He simply changed the way he spoke and interacted with his students. He didn't tell them he was using energy psychology. What happened was that his students, who had been failing miserably, graduated at the top of their class. Every single one of them made it. The drama, the effectiveness of energy healing techniques is wonderful. Rachel Geller happens to be an EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques practitioner. I'm going to let her explain to you how EFT works, and then she's going to use it on me. We're going to use a benign issue, not a troubling emotional issue. We're not going to do a drama fest here on the show. Take it away, Rachel.
EFT works, and it's really as simple as that, because most people, they say, oh, it kind of looks weird. How could tapping, and it involves tapping on acupressure points, how could tapping make a difference to my genes, my beliefs, my thoughts? And on Yochevet's benign issue, how can it really make a difference? And I just ask people, suspend disbelief for a few moments and give it a try. How it works is that I think in our modern world we are so psyched up for fight and flight and terror and trauma, and we look for it at every corner, we see it in every relationship, and it's messing us up. And it helps us to just calm down at the deep level, to make a choice to calm down at individual levels. So that's how it's helped me. What happens is it involves tapping on acupressure points, and these acupressure points are known by the Chinese and people who studied medicine like that, and they're also used for acupuncture. And we just tap on them gently, and in this method which I use, which is known as faster EFT, it's even faster than regular EFT, we just say let it go on each point. So it can't be simpler than that. It's easy to learn. And what are we letting go, and where does it go to? So that's a good question. We're letting go of the fact that we totally believe that our belief is true. We're giving an opening to that we might be experiencing it as true, we might be feeling it as true, or we may even be living it as true. But there might be some aspect of it that isn't true, which is why we're experiencing it as pain or pressure. A lot of people, for example, they eat food that they don't want to eat. They feel really like they have to eat it. Where does that come from? They make a conscious decision, I want to eat healthy, and they're like, oh, I don't want to eat whole wheat bread, or oh, I love chocolate. I'm like, why would they love chocolate? You could like chocolate, you could eat a healthy amount of chocolate, but to love it so that you eat it before you meet a troubling person, you eat it when you're upset in the morning, you eat it just without conscious intention, it doesn't add up. So that's the kind of belief we'll work on when there's this dissonance, when deep down you know there's something must be not true about that. We call it a craving, but deep down I think it's a belief.
I agree. There's a belief system, we're not aware of it, it's in the subconscious. It's the message that our mind kicks out, and we're not quite aware that it's happening. We're so used to it, we've stopped noticing the noise. But the message keeps coming back to us, and that's what's sabotaging our efforts to stick to a diet, to stick to an exercise routine, whatever it is that we're trying to do that's productive, that's good for us. And we're talking about, we're telling kids, I don't understand, why isn't this working? I've made so much effort. Well, EFT gets to that quiet voice giving you those negative messages in the back of your head and says, stop. We don't need the message. It's counterproductive.
Yeah, so you could start wherever you are. You know, if you're in the middle of, I mean, this is more challenging issues. The stuff I usually work with is people who have a challenging relationship, or they themselves have chronic fatigue and they're exhausted. You know, you start where you are. This is my experience. And actually the first stage before we even go to tapping is externalizing. I tell people, get yourself a book, a little exercise book, you know, for a very small amount of money, any book, and get a pen and start writing. And people think this is journaling, but I'm not talking about journaling so you can keep your stuff forever. I'm talking about writing it down so that it's not in your head. Your head is not the greatest resource place for storing this kind of stuff that you can't work out. You write it down on a paper and then you can deal with it. So that's step one. Or if you're in a session, you can tell the practitioner with words, or you can tell your friend. Some people like to record, and you can record on an MP3. I'm feeling really bad. Just start where you are and say it.
All right. We're going to start an EFT session with me. We're going to work on my difficulty at limiting how much chocolate I eat. I do eat chocolate. I eat a bit every day under medical guidelines. Chocolate, pure 99% pure chocolate happens to be quite good for female health. It protects the woman's heart and her brain. This is under valid medical research. However, I'm tempted to eat the whole chocolate bar in a day. That's not good for my health, and I would like to stop that temptation. That's what we're going to work on today.
Right. And that's why it's really good, because EFT won't make you stupid. It's not going to take away your true beliefs. It will just take away the ones that are not based on truth. It will help you challenge them. So I have some chocolate here, brought especially for the occasion.
And I'll have to behave myself somehow.
We usually use a scale of 1 to 10. I ask people, how much do you want it? You said you like it, and you could eat the whole bar.
Absolutely.
Even right now?
No problem.
Okay, well, I like to push it up and make it even worse. Could you remember a time when you really wanted to eat that whole bar?
Yes. When I feel frustrated about any given event, I definitely want some chocolate.
And do you remember one particular given event at which you did feel frustrated?
I recently found out that several people who I know and value very much, I found out that they have cancer. I was quite upset, and I hit the chocolate. I realized this isn't good, and I had to make quite an effort to push it away.
If you eat the chocolate, they'll get better? No?
No, I don't know. I wanted to feel better. I was crying. I was quite distraught that the friends who had been diagnosed had a very severe advanced form of cancer.
Yeah, and I can imagine that's traumatic for anyone. So what does one do if one didn't have chocolate?
Well, I know I'm supposed to pray. I know that in the book there are resources that I often tell to people, this can help you, that can help you, etc. But as a reasonable adult, I know I'm supposed to control my eating habits, especially as a woman who wants to keep her weight under control. And I realized, something silly is going on here with chocolate. Why am I hitting the chocolate so much? And I don't know why. And I have to make a very conscious effort to stop eating. And then that results, well, I have to find something else to eat. I want to chew, I want to gnaw, I'm upset. Yeah. So I want to stop the cycle.
Okay, and now did you notice the words that she said? She said she wants to chew, she wants to gnaw, and that's a very common belief that it's the... I was trying to get it out of her to see what is it about the chocolates. Some people it's the shiny silver paper, and for some people it's the colour, and for some people it's the chewing and the gnawing that helps them to get that gnawing out of their own system. And if you can zero in on the aspect, let's say you have a desire for chocolate. What is it about chocolate that speaks to you? I don't have the packaging on here, but some people, they're really attracted just to the package. And a packet of chocolate like this means nothing to them. Does it mean anything to you without the packaging on?
I know there's chocolate underneath and I'd really like to have some.
Really?
But if it had a label, I'd be checking how much sugar it is. And if the sugar content is too high, I'll purposely go to get some chocolate with a lower sugar content level so I feel a shade less guilty.
A shade less guilty, so we've got some guilt in there too.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a human being, folks. I have my foibles.
I'm not. Not for chocolate anymore. Because I've done this so many times on people, like I wouldn't eat this stuff, you paid me. Except sometimes when I'm really feeling bad about something. So let's go with the tapping. You feel it now.
Yeah.
Desire for chocolate, and you remember those people who got diagnosed with cancer. And folks, I'm not just trying to irritate her. I'm trying to help her feel that sadness, that driving to eat the chocolate, so that next time she won't turn to chocolate, but maybe something better.